Welcome to Top Stories Hub. Today we've got a new story, a mystery you'll want to unravel. Sarah Thompson, a senior, was coaxed into singing at a talent show, initially meant as a humorous gag. Yet, her heartfelt rendition leaves the crowd on their feet, cheering wildly. When the executives at America's Talent picked Sarah for their show, aiming for a light-hearted bit, they were unprepared for the stunning outcome. At 68, Sarah, clad in her floral frock, appeared entirely mismatched on the expansive stage. The audience braced for chuckles, but when she began to sing, her voice transformed the room, leaving a lasting impact. Sarah Thompson slipped on her bifocals, peering closely at the daily crossword in the morning paper. Soft rays of dawn filtered through delicate lace drapes, hanging in her home for more than 3 decades. Her simple flat in Millfield, Ohio, may have been small, but it felt like a cozy sanctuary. 7 letters, a musical word for super loud, she whispered under her breath. Fortissimo. Her pencil glided confidently across the page. Now 68, Sarah had embraced the steady routine of retirement, sipping coffee over crosswords each morning, lending a hand at the library in the afternoons, and joining the church choir on Thursdays as an alto, always harmonizing quietly in the background. A piercing ring from the phone broke her tranquil morning. "Hi there," Sarah responded, brushing a wisp of silvery blonde hair behind her ear. "Mrs. Thompson, it's Linda from the choir. Have you heard? They're hosting tryouts for America's Talent at the Convention Center this coming Tuesday." Sarah laughed softly. "Linda, those talent contests aren't meant for folks like me. Don't be silly. Your voice is absolutely stunning, I've never heard anything like it, and even Pastor Davis agrees. It's been ages since I've sung on my own, honestly, I can't even recall the last time." Her hand absent-mindedly grazed the tiny music box on her end table, a faint echo of aspirations she'd long set aside. After the call ended, Sarah stepped to her bathroom mirror, gazing at the face looking back at her. Wrinkles framing her eyes traced tales of happiness and heartache. Her beloved floral dress, once snug, now draped a touch more loosely on her frame. She began with a gentle hum, then allowed her voice to swell, flooding the tiny bathroom with deep, soulful notes. In that instant, she wasn't just a widow in her solitary 2-bedroom flat. She felt youthful once more, brimming with dreams, back on her high school stage before life shifted, before Professor Harper's harsh words shattered her self-assurance. "Your technique is passable, Miss Carter, but completely unremarkable. You don't have the flair that distinguishes hobbyists from true performers." Even after half a century, those words still pierced her heart. Sarah shut her eyes, letting the tune drift away. She'd come to terms with her understated life, nurturing her daughter alone after her husband's early passing, and serving as a school secretary until she retired. Singing had turned into a personal, cherished ritual, limited to shower solos and quiet harmonies in the choir's back row. Unbeknownst to her, just 3 miles away, Linda was posting a video to the America's Talent site, a sneaky recording of Sarah singing a solo at last Easter's service when the lead soprano fell sick. Her world was on the verge of a shift, ready or not. 3 days later, Sarah's phone buzzed once more. This time, an unfamiliar number flashed on her caller ID. "Hi, Mrs. Thompson. I'm Michael Bennett from America's Talent. We got an audition video of you." Sarah's pulse quickened. "Oh, there's got to be a mix-up. I never sent in a video." Michael laughed lightly. "Well, somebody did. It's a gorgeous performance of Amazing Grace, from what seems like a church event. That was you, right?" Her thoughts spun, instantly guessing Linda's well-meaning interference. "Sure, but I didn't. Mrs. Thompson, we'd love for you to sing on next week's episode. Your voice has a special charm that could create an unforgettable TV moment." Across town in the production hub, Michael muted the phone and grinned at his coworker. They were hunting for their weekly, heartfelt exit, a performer the crowd adores for their spirit but eliminates for lacking polish. Older contestants were a ratings jackpot, audiences couldn't get enough of those moments. I just can't, Sarah stuttered. It's been ages since I've sung alone. That's exactly why. America adores a good comeback tale. Picture it, motivating older folks nationwide. Sarah paused. I'm not sure. We'll handle travel, hotel, the works. Just one performance, Mrs. Thompson. What's your answer? After ending the call, Sarah wandered her living room, caught between excitement and dread. She called her daughter in Cincinnati. Mom, that's incredible, Emily shouted. You've got to go for it. At my age? I'll seem absurd. You'll look bold, Emily replied. Don't you always say, life grows or shrinks based on how brave you are? Sarah grinned, hearing her own advice echoed. That's a nice name, sweetheart. But it's still right, Mom. After Dad passed, you paused your whole world for me, your passions, your plans, everything. Maybe this is the universe handing you a fresh start. That evening, Linda showed up at Sarah's doorstep with a bouquet and regrets. I should have checked with you first, she confessed. But I've caught you singing when you thought you were alone. That voice needs to be shared with the world. Sarah shook her head. I rang them back. I'm going through with it. Linda squealed, hugging her friend warmly. You're going to be amazing. Unbeknownst to either, Sarah's file in the America's Talent office bore a tiny red flag, heartfelt exit. Her outcome was sealed before she'd even sung a note. The enormous studio building stood before Sarah like an imposing castle. She gripped her handbag firmly as a production assistant guided her through a maze of hallways. First time on TV, the young assistant inquired, hardly glancing up from her clipboard. Am I that transparent? Sarah tried to grin. No stress, most performers get jittery. First stop is hair and makeup, then vocal training, and after that, camera rehearsal. The makeup area hummed with energy, youthful artists getting polished, athletic dancers limbering up in corners, and a teen girl strumming guitar chords. Sarah felt noticeably out of sync in her simple blue dress adorned with floral stitching, the same one she'd worn to her granddaughter's christening last spring. Sarah Thompson. A makeup artist stepped forward, evaluating her features with cool professionalism. Let's work some magic here. An hour and a half later, Sarah hardly knew the reflection staring back. Her silvery blonde locks were shaped into gentle waves, her lips coated in a vibrant pink, her eyes enhanced with delicate shading. Hope it's not overdone, she said shyly. The stylist gave a warm smile. You're gorgeous, dear. Perfect for your age and ready for the spotlight. In the practice area, performers prepared under the keen gaze of Michael Bennett, the producer who'd phoned her. He scanned the space with sharp eyes, pausing now and then to give pointers or praise. When he got to Sarah, his grin didn't fully light up his eyes. Mrs. Thompson, our star senior, how's it going? Honestly, a little out of my depth, she admitted. That's normal, he said, giving her shoulder a pat. Just enjoy it. Viewers eat up realness. As Michael stepped away, Sarah caught him murmuring to another producer, ideal for the heartfelt moment. The grandmother everyone dreams of. Her spirits dropped. Was she just a stereotypical older participant? At the lunch spot, Sarah sat by herself until a young woman with violet hair and several piercings flopped down next to her. Hey, I'm Mia. You're the choir gal, yeah. Sarah gave a cautious nod. Don't fall for Michael's act, Mia whispered. I've been a stagehand here. They always pick one senior for a chuckle or a sob story. It boosts viewership. The comment hurt, but Sarah kept her composure. Got it. What song are you performing? At Last, by Etta James. Mia's brows arched. Gutsy pick. That's a tough one. It was my husband's top song. Sarah gave a gentle smile. He always said I outdid Etta herself. Well, Mia said, grabbing her tray, show them what you've got, choir queen. Darkness settled outside, but inside the studio, last-minute practice went on under glaring spotlights. Sarah sat in her dressing room, gazing at the sheet music in front of her. Only a few hours stood between her and the live show. A tap on the door announced Emily's arrival. Her daughter had made a 3-hour drive to be there for her. "Mom, you're absolutely stunning." Emily hugged her warmly. "I feel like a fraud," Sarah admitted. "The other performers are so gifted, so youthful." Emily clasped her mom's hands. "What's really weighing on you?" Sarah's gaze drifted. "I can't shake Professor Harper's voice in my mind. It's been half a century, but being here drags it all up again." "Your old college music professor, the one who told you to give up?" Emily asked. Sarah nodded slowly. "My final recital. I'd rehearsed for months. Then he pulled me aside and said I'd never make it, that some folks just aren't cut out for the stage." Emily frowned. "And you bought that?" "I was only 20, Sarah said, her voice shaky. "What did I know back then?" "The very next week, I ditched my music major for education." "Mom," Emily said softly, pulling out her phone. "Let me show you something." She played a video, the same one Linda had sent in, capturing Sarah's church solo. Sarah watched herself, oblivious to the camera. "Check out the congregation's faces," Emily urged. The video swept over the crowd, their eyes glistening, faces alight with feeling. "That's the magic your voice works on people, Mom. Not just decent. It's life-changing." Tears welled up in Sarah Thompson's eyes. "I'm not sure I can pull this off." Emily gripped her hand gently. "You don't have to go through with it, Mom. We can leave right now. But I have a feeling you'd kick yourself if you walked away." A production assistant poked her head in. "Mrs. Thompson, you're on in 15 minutes. After Emily stepped out, Sarah shut her eyes, letting memories flood in, her husband's awestruck face when she first sang for him, little Emily drifting off to her lullabies, and choir friends saying her alto harmonies lifted them through tough songs. Professor Harper's cruel words still echoed faintly, but now they were drowned out by Linda's cheers, Mia's dare, and Emily's unwavering faith. Sarah opened her eyes and stood taller, resolve hardening. For 50 years, she'd stayed in the shadows, singing in showers and back pews. Even if the producers saw her as a punchline, even if she crashed and burned, she'd do it her way. She freshened her lipstick, smoothed her floral dress, and strode into the corridor. Whatever came next, she'd pour her heart into her song. The America's Talent stage was built to overwhelm, searing spotlights, 1,200 live spectators, 3 judges notorious for their sharp critiques, and cameras catching every move. Backstage, contestants clustered like warriors before a fight. "You're 8th up," a stage manager told Sarah. "After the teen rockers and before the opera star." Her throat tightened, but she gave a small nod. The opening act, a spry acrobatic dancer, leapt onto the stage to roaring cheers. Michael Bennett sidled up to Sarah, flashing his TV-perfect grin. "Just be you, Mrs. Thompson. America eats up realness." His words echoed earlier ones, but now Sarah caught their empty core. The acts blurred as her moment neared. The teen band rocked the house, their vibe electric, then the stage went quiet for reset. And now, the host boomed, a grandmother from Ohio showing it's never too late to chase dreams. "Give it up for Sarah Thompson." Polite applause greeted Sarah as she stepped to center stage. The mic stand felt miles off. Blinding lights turned the crowd into a shadowy void. She sensed their judgment, her old-fashioned floral dress, her weathered hands, her silvery blonde hair. A camera's mechanical hum closed in. "Good evening," Sarah murmured, her voice a shaky whisper, amplified by the mic. A snicker rippled through the crowd. Someone coughed loudly. "Mrs. Thompson, the head judge, a former pop star, said, 'Tell us about you.' I'm Sarah Thompson, 68, from Millfield, Ohio. What's got you here tonight? She considered the producer's canned line about inspiring seniors but went off script. My friend Linda taped me singing at church and sent it in without me knowing. The crowd's laughter was warm, genuine, charmed by her candor. Let's hear what Linda saw, the judge said with a patronizing smile. What's your song? At Last, by Etta James. The judges swapped looks, a tough song that tripped up singers half her age. The iconic strings swelled. Sarah closed her eyes, the melody wrapping around her. Her hands shook on the mic stand. Then she pictured her late husband, David, dancing with her to this song at their wedding. At last, she sang, her voice wobbly at first. In the control room, Michael Bennett leaned in. Cue the reaction shots, he told the director. This'll be gold. But then, magic. On the next line, Sarah's voice bloomed, deep and soulful, laced with a lifetime of joy and pain in every note. Not flawless, but raw, real, carrying a lifetime of joy and pain in every note. My lonely days are over. The crowd, primed for laughs, fell silent, spellbound. Life is like a song. Backstage, Emily pressed her hands to her face, tears falling. Sarah stood taller, her hands free of the mic, gesturing with passion. Her face glowed as she hit the song's peak, her voice soaring with the strength of a woman who'd loved, lost, and endured. You are mine at last. The final note lingered, pure, timeless. Silence held for 3 endless seconds. Then the crowd exploded. A woman in the front row jumped up, clapping furiously. The ovation swept through all 1,200, a tidal wave of cheers. Sarah froze, dazed under the lights. Was this real? Whistles and shouts of "Bravo" rang out. A guy in the balcony let out a piercing whistle. In the control room, producers gaped. You seeing this? Michael whispered, pale. Their planned sob story had flipped the script. The lead judge, known for brutal takedowns, stood clapping hard. The female judge sobbed, mascara streaking. The third, a music vet, just shook his head, stunned. Mrs. Thompson, the lead judge said as the noise eased, I'm speechless. That was phenomenal. The female judge wiped her eyes. You didn't just sing, you lived that song. I felt every word. That's what music's for. The third leaned in. I've heard countless, At Last, covers. Yours is up there with Etta's. Youth's polish can't touch your depth. In the wings, Emily wept openly. Linda, with a guest pass, clutched a stagehand's arm. That's my friend, she kept saying. Mia, the punk rock contestant, stood gobsmacked. Damn, she muttered. Sarah found her voice. Thank you, she said softly into the mic, thank you all. No, the lead judge shot back, thank you for showing us what this show's really about, raw talent, no matter your age or look. The host handed her a tissue, she hadn't noticed her own tears. I'd say, he declared, Sarah Thompson's moving on. The crowd roared agreement. As Sarah left the stage, legs wobbly, she passed Michael. Their eyes locked, his face was unreadable, but he gave a slight nod, respect, maybe. In that moment, Professor Harper's voice in her head went quiet for good. By morning, Sarah's performance was everywhere. News channels ran clips, social media buzzed, and her phone wouldn't quit. Mom, you've hit 3 million views. Emily said over hotel breakfast, scrolling. They're calling you the voice of wisdom and America's Nana. Sarah spread butter on her toast, calm now. Yesterday's nerves felt like a distant memory. It's a lot to take in, she said. A knock brought Michael Bennett, flowers in hand, his smile sheepish but thrilled. Mrs. Thompson, I owe you an apology, and a thank you. Last night's ratings crushed it. She took the bouquet gracefully. No need to apologize, Mr. Bennett. Being underestimated can be a secret weapon. It catches folks off guard. He squirmed. 3 record labels called this morning. They want to talk deals. Sarah's eyes widened. At my age? Like the judges said, your life experience hits home. You in? Later, prepping for her next show appearance, Sarah hummed happily. Her phone pinged with a text from an unknown number. Professor John Harper here, 92, retired in Florida. Saw you last night. I was dead wrong about you back then. Horribly so. You were always a star. I'm sorry. Sarah read it twice, then smiled gently. After 50 years, that old scar finally faded. In the mirror, she saw herself anew, not just a lady in a floral dress, but an artist whose moment had arrived. Better late than never. Sarah's story reminds us talent doesn't fade with age, it deepens. In a world that overlooks seniors, we miss their wisdom and grace. What gifts are hiding in you, waiting to shine? Drop in the comments where you're watching from, and follow for more tales that prove the best surprises come when you least expect them. That's all for today's tale on Top Stories Hub. Hit subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me what you'd like to see next.